Greetings, guys. Zeiss here. I was just putting these nice clothes on, and I got this notification about this new Diablo 4 video from Blizzard. So let's watch and react.
In the eternal conflict between the high heavens and the burning hells, Diablo 4 offers you more choice than ever before. Player choice is infused into everything, from how you look, the skills you use, the loot you equip, your path through the non-linear story, to how and when you choose to explore the shared open world.
Looks like we are on the same track with them. I was trying to say something like this in my last video, which you can see up here.
We want players to play their own way and have their
Exactly.
own choice of how they're going to build their character.
Yes. This reminds me of the old days of Diablo 2 or Diablo 3, where everyone's watching what the top guy does, and they try to do it, but they can't. In Diablo 4, this will be even more difficult to achieve. I don't expect to see the half of the server wearing the Shaco or whatever.
Between all of our different systems, you can really create a custom character in ways that was not available in previous Diablo titles.
Exactly.
When you log into Diablo 4, the first thing you're gonna have to do is create your character. And those familiar with Diablo are gonna be very familiar with the screen with all the classes sitting around the campfire.
In Diablo
Yeah.
4, we got 5 classes. The Barbarian
For
is
now.
your fantasy of a fierce warrior or fighter.
The Barbarian is the weapon master of Diablo 4, being able to pick up any weapon, jump into the fray, and do really badass stuff with it.
They're very
Hopefully, now with the recent changes, hopefully, they don't take so much damage.
very strong, they're very physical. They can take different weapons for different situations and use them to their maximum effect.
The sorcerer is really your elemental mage. You have fire, ice, lightning.
This was actually the best class before, so let's see what they have to say.
You can either focus on one or you can kind of be a jack of all trades mage and
Just focus on one. Hybrid sorcerer was never a good idea. You can't be strong enough while specializing in too many different things. Unless you deep dive into each.
use abilities from all three.
They're a little more fragile than other classes, tend to be more ranged. The rogue, unlike the
Yeah, but sorcerer also have like amazing crowd control. So this time around in Diablo 4, the combat will be more strategic, so don't expect to teleport around and smash everything like before. Just can't happen.
Barbarian, they are a little bit more clever. They're very fast. They have the ability to imbue their weapons with different elemental energies, and they can modify them to do different things.
The rogue has two different types of play styles. You have the ranged crossbow type gameplay, or you have the in-your-face daggers, poisons. You can lead the enemies into traps that have huge effects. More stealthy type gameplay.
Yeah, hopefully they use that. Oh, 17 damage.
And the druid is really this shapeshifter.
When you cast certain
I don't
skills,
think
you
so.
change your form, what you look like and what you can do. They can turn into werebears or werewolves. If I cast a werewolf skill, I turn into a werewolf and I do werewolf things. If I cast like pulverize, for example, which is a werebear skill, I turn into a werebear, I slam the ground really hard.
17
Fits the
damage.
fantasy, it's pretty cool. They can also become masters of nature magic with earth and storm magic.
Actually, this elemental druid could be like the better thing to do. But hopefully there is a way to get a good skill for single target, so you can do bosses, elites, etc. And also a good skill for multi-target, like when you're doing events, just random mobs on your path. And don't neglect defenses.
Last but not least, we got the necromancer. They raise
Finally, something cool.
Armies of the Dead. They have different types of minions. You've got your skeletal warriors, your skeletal mages, and then your golem.
Yeah, which were obviously only good for the early game, and now with the new changes where they will be dying more often and will be wasting your corpse resource, which actually helps you deal more damage. I don't know. Maybe it's a good idea to do an active necromancer and sacrifice all the minions for your own purpose and gain. Typical black magic.
You have blood magic or bone magic that you can also take advantage of and tackle combat that way. If you've played a previous Diablo game and you enjoyed a certain playstyle, you can actually bring that into Diablo 4, or just try something completely new.
No matter which class you play, there's going to
Most probably it's gonna be something completely new.
be multiple different avenues and fantasies that you can chase.
You can customize your character in ways you've never been able to before,
Finally, a smart person joins the top.
with near endless character creation and transmog options.
In previous Diablo games, you had to be attached to certain archetypes and look a certain way. And in Diablo 4, it's really up to you how you want your character to look.
This is actually good as long as they make it so that classes don't share any type of modification.
Be able to choose from different facial structures from people all over the world. No matter where you are, you'll be able to say, hey, I can actually make someone that looks like me or looks like someone from my part of the world, which we're really proud of. You can pick a hairstyle for your character, and every class actually has a specific hairstyle that no other class can use. You can pick.
Now we know this for sure. Hopefully, it turns out well. Because what we had access to before was quite funny to, I don't know, all classes sharing the same styles, like hair and everything. I don't know. I initially thought this was because of the cutscenes part where they actually show the character the way you made it.
Your eye color. We have some really fun ones. We have eye glowing. We have a bloodshot type eye. And then you can actually pick a marking, which
Oh, and they call that funny.
is a tattoo or a design that covers your entire character. And there are dozens of those.
Transmog is the idea that you can take a piece of gear and change the appearance of it to look like a different piece of gear. As far as aesthetics, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I enjoyed that part the most. I mean, come on. Who wants to look like a gypsy? Like yellow hat, red jacket, purple pants, green boots? No.
However you can think of making your character, you can make it that way.
Everybody's going to
hopefully.
look completely different in
Yeah.
Diablo 4.
One of our pillars for class design in Diablo 4 is this idea that we want
Actually, this the way the character looks doesn't really matter. It's more like a comfort thing. If that makes you feel more powerful, like the way you look, okay, do your thing and go ahead.
players to play the way that they want to. When you first start the game, we introduce you to the idea of the skill tree. As you level up, you get access to these different skills or passives or upgrades to make your character more powerful.
Each category has a few different
Somehow this reminds me of World of Warcraft. I don't know why. Let's see.
skills that are all similar. They're either all defensive or all offensive, all ice or all fire. You can either focus on a very specific section or you
Yeah,
can
that'd be
pick and
better.
choose.
The first skill point when you unlock a new skill is going to
Pick and choose what? She didn't finish the sentence. The sentence. The sentence. Okay, let's see.
give you access to that skill. After that, you can put additional points into any skill that you have, and it's going to make it better, whether it increases the radius or adds some new effect.
Yeah, better pay attention to those because it definitely could be felt. 1 point extra makes huge difference. This is why sometimes, like, if you are 1 or 2 to like 5 levels below something, you have the extreme challenge.
or reduces the cooldown through some special way.
You can actually branch out in a very different direction, even if two characters actually started at the same place.
That's not a good idea, especially because of the last passive skill points. You can have like just one branch. So whatever you focus on, do that. Make it more powerful.
The Paragon board is a late game system.
This is where things get really interesting because this is what will differentiate the characters. This is where the customization actually begins, because before that, most probably anyone would have access to it. But depending what you do here will make the huge difference. Let's see how.
That once you've completely filled out your skill tree, you think you have a build, it will really let you delve into the theory crafting and the depth of Diablo 4's skill system.
And these boards, they can move through them, spending their Paragon points, and they have nodes that give them very...
Yeah, notice the insane amount of gold it asks for to refund it. But obviously, you have like 4 million here for this character. So spending like 50k on just one point should be no problem at a certain point, but you can't do it all the time. And from what I remember, the more you do it, the more it will cost. So yeah, gotta be careful with that one. It's better to do it on the go, but anyway, don't rush it because it will cost you a lot. And then you don't want to waste your time farming gold or asking your team members or clan members, hey, give me gold to reset. Nah.
basic stats like intellect or dexterity. We also...
Okay, basic stats. Believe it or not, these always make huge impact, especially in a game like this where numbers are not that great, at least initially.
also have more powerful nodes. We have rare nodes that have different effects, where they can
especially
totally
those.
modify a skill to...
Totally modify a skill, exactly. So, like I mentioned, this is the thing that will make the characters stand out. This is what is going to make them completely different. Even if you have like the same items, like from some other character that you inspected or saw from the forthcoming leaderboard, because this is what people usually do. They check like the who's first, they must be the best, which is not always the case. I won't go into detail about that. You most probably know what I'm talking about. And the next couple of characters on the list are usually not that different, maybe with just slight modifications. Now, this Paragon board will introduce the possibilities to make things different for everyone, to play the way you like I've previously said.
do something additional or different, or...
Yep. Core skill damage, dexterity. Another core skill damage if requirement met. So these seem pretty high requirements, but if you go to this node, this is where such nodes come into play. Like I said, it might seem small of a change, but when you get to such nodes, which are rare, then you're gonna feel it. Then you're gonna feel it even more.
or they can even make new connections between skills so that players can have new ways to play their character. Legendary nodes are equivalent to legendary powers, where they have more powerful effects that can change the builds and ways that characters play.
You can start planning this long journey of, okay, I want to hit this node, and then I want to hit this node, and I'm going to apply.
Planning something which allows for such diversity, I don't think it's a good option, because you never know if you're going to find everything that you need, especially that now that we know that such things cannot be traded. If they can be traded, that's fine. but legendaries cannot be traded. So the most important things you will need for your character, you will have to go farm yourself. Wait, sounds like go something else yourself. Oh, that's gonna hurt the RMT guys for sure.
This board, and I'm going to start from this side.
And don't get me wrong, I understand those who prefer RMT. If you're like the guy who plays 1 or 2 hours a week, just wants to have some fun and experience this top build you otherwise never be able to get, I understand you. Don't worry. And I totally support you. They don't.
Really just get into a super complex, very specific build for your character.
Legendary items are really rare and powerful items that you're going to find as you adventure through the world of Sanctuary. We
Oh, the Grandmaster was behind.
have quite a few different categories of legendaries and how they do that. Some of them will actually change your skill or enhance it in some way.
Frozen Orb, for example.
Did he mention that legendaries will be rare? We're gonna have some fun, totally.
It might say, hey, every single time you use your Frozen Orb, it applies a new effect. And then I can actually take advantage of that new effect.
Yeah, I remember this skill was doing more damage to frozen enemies, so pay attention to that. Make sure to combine those well.
That it has. Even
Yeah.
if the item itself is maybe not as good as the one you have, you can still
Exactly. It's gonna make you more powerful if you take your time, at least the first round, read through the things, and make sure to combine them well. And I'm not talking about complete build planning. Just make sure you understand what you do. Again, the first time, it will take you some extra time to do. But then you'll know why you are powerful and how to use the power. Which is actually the true power.
extract that power from it, take advantage of it, and use it for your build.
The problem with that is it could be done just once. And then the garbage item becomes unusable, untradeable. So you have to keep doing this and make sure you have everything you need, at least several times. Don't just put it on a slightly better item. Be careful not to lose those.
One thing that our players can look forward to is that a lot of our classic, really rare, and most powerful items from previous titles are going to be returning as uniques in Diablo 4.
Unique items are very similar to legendaries, but they're unique, which means if that ability is actually on a chess piece, it's always going to be on that chess piece because
Amazing.
it's more powerful than a regular legendary effect.
Yep, so eventually we'll get to that. Even the legendaries become irrelevant at some point.
Crafting is a big part of Diablo 4. We have all kinds of different ways that you could upgrade and interact with NPCs to make your gear better. You can increase the item level or power of your gear, so you can actually get a piece of gear and just make it stronger. You can also add sockets to your gear so that you can put gems inside of it.
There are a lot of different
Yeah, looks like gems are gonna be the thing. They're gonna be adding like lots of significant power to the item. So make sure to collect lots of those. I will.
ways that players will be able to customize their experience in Diablo 4. Every single player is going to have a different experience and a different build at the end.
Hopefully. I do really hope that will be the case. Because I don't like seeing half of the server wearing the same item, no matter they look different now. I mean, no matter there's the option to look different right now. From what I remember when I was playing the beta was that I noticed most of the characters I met, they weren't that much into cosmetics. They didn't change much. They looked the way the items were looking. And honestly, that's okay.
end of the day.
Because we have all of these different ways to make your own character, there's a lot more possibility compared to previous titles of how you want to play, how you want to build your character. We really are doubling down on this idea that you can look the way you want, you can play the way you want, you can really make your own fantasy in this game.
Yeah, I want my sorcerers to be naked, distracting people. Why not?
Hell welcomes all, and so does Diablo 4. In the coming weeks, we'll be sharing even more about how to play your way. Now, our launch on June
Yeah, that's the most important thing I was trying to previously say in my videos. To play your way. Don't bother how everybody else is playing, even if they are more powerful than you. Who cares? You'll get there if you put the right amount of effort in it. Yeah.
6 is getting closer. Closer still if you got early access. And we
Yeah,
can't
we
wait to
do.
see you in Sanctuary. Hail Lilith, Blessed Mother.
Yeah, and lesson from me, don't bow to anyone, even if they're more powerful. Avoid doing that. Never ends well. Alright, I guess that was it. So I'll see you guys on the server slam. You can check my account details in the description below, so feel free to add me if you want to play with me. I'll be also available on Discord, so we may talk instead of chatting, because I will be playing on a console and I wouldn't be able to chat on it because this virtual keyboard and things. Alright, see you guys in the next video. Take care. Oh yeah, everybody was like saying peace and all that after their video is ending. What am I gonna say? Chaos.